Today on the morning show, meet today's hometown heroes. Two guys who brought joy to a friend diagnosed with COVID. And they've even got some NHL players to help out. Also, are you using this time to decorate? HGTV star Sarah Richardson has some city and country-inspired design ideas in her new book. Plus, is the pressure of staying connected by FaceTime, Zoom, and Skype getting to you? Our relationship expert, Jess O'Reilly, is here with some new ways to help you stay calm while staying connected.
Time goes by so fast.
Then, Juno and CCMA winner Johnny Reed is here to talk about his time in self-isolation. And if you're cleaning out your closet, don't throw out your old t-shirts until you see Natalie Sexton's idea for transforming them into some must-have wardrobe items.
That's The Light in You by Canada's own Johnny Reed. We look forward to Johnny joining us a little later in the show to talk more about a song he specifically wrote for Nova Scotia. We'll hear a little snippet of that coming up. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, April 28th. We are coming to you live from our Chorus Key studios and Jeff's house. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning, Karen. Good morning, everybody. Looking forward to seeing Johnny, one of our favorites here on the morning show. And of course, Nova Scotia is still very much on all of our hearts, all of our minds. And I want to mention off the top this morning this petition that is now circulating in Nova Scotia to rename a school in honor of fallen RCMP officer Heidi Stevenson. Now, they want to rename Prince Andrew High School in Dartmouth after her in this petition with 8,000 signatures and growing. So that's going on in Nova Scotia right now. And of course, that national tragedy still, as I mentioned, on all of our hearts. And with the COVID-19 pandemic continuing every day, we've now got Fort McMurray with some problems and some troubles there. Massive flooding going on in Fort Mac. Mandatory evacuations have occurred there. And this, of course, Care, happening just some, 3-4 years after the wildfires devastated that area. So certainly we send all of our thoughts, all of our prayers out to everybody watching and our friends in Fort McMurray this morning. We sure do. Well, here's some positive news to report. This coming out of Newfoundland, Labrador, where that province has reported only 2 new cases of COVID-19 in the last week, none yesterday. Ottawa, meanwhile, expected to release new modeling numbers on whether Canada has reached its peak or not. And speaking of Ottawa, Jeff, for the first time in history, Parliament will be meeting virtually today, which should be quite interesting, having all the MPs Skyping in or Zooming in. I wonder if anyone's going to have an interesting virtual background. Yeah, who knows? Because you can do that, of course, on your Zoom calls, right? Put up a bit of a fun or fake background. I don't know about everybody else out there and how your Zoom meetings are going, but just based on the Zoom meetings we have daily here with our staff on the morning show, I don't like their chances. I really don't like their chances of getting anything done there in Ottawa. Hey, listen, if you're getting a little tired of the Zoom thing and you're really struggling with it and trying to stay connected, we have our relationship expert, Dr. Jessica O'Reilly, on standby. She's coming up a little later here this morning with us on the morning show with some tips on how to really kind of navigate the digital world and stay connected with coworkers and a loved one. So Dr. Jess is coming up. Okay, so this week we're going to start checking in with our global news family right across the country. And Cara, this morning we're going to start out west.
We sure are. Joining us now from Global BC, a lot of our viewers will recognize Global News Morning host Neetu Garcha. Neetu, how's the team over there and your beautiful city?
Oh, we are doing well. We're among the lucky ones because we're here. We're at work. We have a job to come to and a paycheck to earn. Like many people, I mean, our jobs have shifted. A lot of people have had to take on roles that they haven't before or have had to do a complete overhaul of technology in order to make it happen from home. As you guys well know, there's never been a time like this in journalism, at least not in my career. So for me, daily, as I drive to work, I really feel the pressure. There are millions of people who are at home right now, tuned into the news, news and needing reliable information. So the pressure is on us to make sure we get that out to people, and it's just such a surreal time. Day by day, it's not becoming more normal. I feel like it's just getting more surreal as the days go on. And I mean, as for the region, I can't speak for the residents here, but I know it's been difficult for a lot of people. There's another public health crisis right now, the opioid crisis in Vancouver's downtown east side, one of the poorest neighborhoods in the country, and communities are struggling to try and deal with that on top of trying to manage social distancing in some of the homeless neighborhoods in this region is very difficult. And I am absorbed in the news conferences daily. Hashing out information from hours of them has become a bit of a daily occurrence, but it wasn't until about a week and a half ago I took a drive downtown and saw Robson Street. It's probably one of the best known shopping districts, completely shuttered. Some 90% of the businesses have boards up, and unfortunately some of them have suffered from break-and-enters as well. But just to see that really made it clear that we might not go back to the world as we knew it. This crisis might actually change the world permanently in some ways, and that's when it really hit home for me.
Yeah, you know, sadly, I think a lot of downtowns have become essentially that, ghost towns because of this. Is there anybody you need to that you would like, an organization or an individual that's doing great things there in your city or community that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Jeff, as you well know, there are so many people, so many organizations doing amazing things, but I went in search of a new story that maybe we haven't given coverage to, and I did come across this Vancouver business. They do custom printing on t-shirts, hats, merchandise, and it was started some 7 years ago by two high school students. They're now 24. They've graduated from computer science and business degrees, and this is their full-time gig. They now have about a dozen staff members, and they've lost about 50% of their income because of COVID-19, but they found a way to help other small businesses survive. So if you've got a small business that's struggling to keep your doors open, you can sign up through their Vancouver Strong program, and they'll launch a website and manage it for you and print swag, t-shirts, hats, that sort of thing with your logo, and $10 from the sale of each product goes to your business to try and keep you alive, essentially. And they've also created shirts that just say Vancouver Strong, and all the proceeds from that go to the BC Centre for Disease Control's COVID-19 emergency response. And they're also trying to go where the puck is headed and get cloth masks, because as the economy start reopening, we all know there's going to be even more of a spike in demand for those as well. So incredible initiative by two young people. It's a big id that hopefully is going to help a lot of small businesses.
I'm sure it will. Neetu Garcha, thank you so much for checking in with us. Give your team our love. So great chatting with you, Neetu.
Absolutely. Right back at you. Thank you.
And we want to share a new initiative with you this morning, another one that is helping children who no longer have access to books, given that schools and libraries are closed for the foreseeable future. The Indigo Love of Reading Foundation has committed $1 million in books and educational resources to support Canadian children in high-needs communities during this time. And to help make this happen, Indigo has partnered with Jay's Care Foundation, Martin Family Initiative, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Canada, local nonprofit organizations that serve children and their families in high-needs communities can apply for grants at loveofreading.org. All right, we're going to take a short break here on The Morning Show. When we come back, meet two hometown heroes who did something special for their friend after he was diagnosed with COVID-19. Stay with us.
This week on The Morning Show, don't miss my big fat Greek wedding star, Nia Vardalos.
And time now for Hometown Heroes. This, of course, is where we're featuring people doing good in their community during this difficult time.
That's right. Case in point, an Ontario facility for adults living with physical and developmental challenges has a resident named Bobby who tested positive for COVID-19 during an outbreak there. Well, a community of people, including some of his NHL idols, came together to submit videos to give Bobby hope.
Hi, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby. We really miss you.
Hey Bobby, it's Travis Dermott here from the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Hey Bobby, it's your good buddy Stammer here.
Hey Bobby, Austin here. Heard you're going through a rough time. Just want to let you know that I'm thinking about you.
Hi Bobby, it's Darcy Tucker. Just wanted to reach out and say hi to you today.
We love you.
And joining us now are the men who came up with the idea of that video, Ben Cohen and Johnny Thompson. All right, Johnny, I'm going to begin with you because you have known Bobby since grade 7. You helped him during those days. You've continued to help him at home. What can you tell us about Bobby?
He's just really an inspiration. He's just a positive attitude. He's always had that electric personality, that smile that's just so infectious. I've worked with him in the home setting. I was his PSW for 4 years. I worked with him as a camp counselor. So we've really grown up together for the past 15 years, and he's just an inspiration. That infectious smile that
and Ben,
everybody knows and loves is...
Yeah, Ben, I wanted to ask you, because I know you helped put this video together, which, as we just saw off the top, includes a number of NHLers. Just to explain to us how you got them involved and the significance that those players have on Bobby in his life.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we found out that Bobby was infected with COVID, Johnny and I put our heads together and we kind of tried to figure out how we could do something to give back to somebody that's given us so much love over the past however many years of our lives, and everyone that he knows, he's always given so much love. So we just really wanted to give back. So we decided to get together and get on Facebook and blast it out to all of his friends and family, and then we started, kind of getting in the DMs of some NHL players, which we actually already had an in because Johnny and Bobby do the Easter Seal skate every single year. So they've got a chance to meet some of those players. So it wasn't, creepy when we were messaging them. Johnny sent some pictures to the guys, and as soon as they saw who it was, they remembered and started sending some videos, including Steve Stamkos, who's actually a very close friend of the family. It was really, really nice to get videos from all those guys, all those people that you watch all the time on TV and over the years, and they're just people like us, and they really wanted to help out and give back as well.
Well, you guys are right. His smile is infectious. Okay, Johnny, what was Bobby's reaction when he saw the video?
Oh, well, it was Bobby's classic shriek and jump out of his chair practically. Good thing he's buckled in because he's just full of energy, and he definitely shrieked for everybody that was a part of that video, and especially his buddies from the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was great to see.
That's so great. And how is Bobby doing now?
He's doing well under the circumstances. He is showing some symptoms, but with the well care that he's given from the support that's at Participation House from the nurses and the PSWs, they're definitely doing a great job. He's in good hands there for sure.
All right. Well, we wish Bobby all the best. Give him our love. Guys, such a great job, such a great video putting that together for him. Congratulations on being our hometown heroes. And if you would like to nominate a hometown hero, connect with us on social media at Morning Show CA. All right, we're going to take a short break. Here on the show, coming up, Juno and CCMA winning singer Johnny Reid talks about spending time in self-isolation along with some very special music.
Stay up all night thinking it's twisted.
This week on The Morning Show, don't miss a performance by Lennon Stella as part of our exclusive TMS Coachella concert series.
All my own healing madness. And when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your time down here is through, there's a place up there for people like you.
That is a look at Johnny Reid's tribute to the people of Nova Scotia after the devastating tragedy that hit their community last week.
And he joins us now from his home in Nashville. So good to see you, Johnny. All right, we just showed a snippet of that song, that video. It's obviously part of the full song and a video that you've been working on. Why was it important for you to send a message to the people of Nova Scotia?
First and foremost, the people of Nova Scotia have shown me nothing but love. For over 2 decades, I've been coming through Nova Scotia. So when my wife told me the news about what had happened up there, it just had a profound effect on me, and I got somewhat emotional. When I get emotional, I tend to pick up my guitar, And I just wanted the people up there to know that we were thinking about them, and that we were sending our love, and you know, through all these dark times, we just got to keep the faith. You know, there's a lot of broken hearts during this time, a lot of unspoken words, and a lot of fractured faith. So to sit down and write a song that might help, that's about as much as I can do, being where I find myself, you know.
Well, listen, as we all know, music heals, without a doubt. It's got a lot of power, and one of them is healing. Johnny, let me ask you how you're doing. You're there joining us at your home in Nashville. How and your family, how are you doing in this time of isolation?
We're good. You know, I think Jen and I are good. I think we have a greater appreciation for teachers during this time. You know, the kids are homeschooling. But we're done, you know, we're trying to take advantage of this time together. I don't think I've been home this long in 25 years, you know, so we're just enjoying each other, try to spend as much time as we can together, going for walks, just simple stuff, but it's the simple stuff that's the best stuff, you know.
Have you learned anything new?
Have I learned anything new? Goodness gracious, I learned a few things. There was a big jar of jobs that my wife wanted me to do that's been sitting on the kitchen counter for about 4 or 5 years. So I've taught myself how to change locks, how to fix windows, you know, hang lights.
All right. Well, listen, we saw you post a video of your daughter doing a TikTok dance. So we're wondering, have you been brushing up? Have you been working on your dancing skills? Are we going to see a Johnny Reid TikTok sometime soon?
Goodness gracious, guys! You know, maybe another time. I need some liquid courage, I think, to make some moves like that. You know.
Well, be careful, because I just suffered my first TikTok injury last night. I have a fat lip. One of the kids' heads hit me as we were doing a fancy move. So you're forewarned. Be careful. All right, let's talk about Soul Train Sound Studios, formerly known as Scruggs Sound, the legendary studio in Nashville you purchased from the late Randy Scruggs. How emotional was that for you to see it finally finished 2 years after Randy's passing?
It was an incredible journey. You know, I was on the road. I received a phone call to let me know that Randy was looking to sell the studio, and it needed a lot of work. But Randy and I came to an agreement. I made him a promise that I would have it making music again, and almost 18 months later, 19 months later, after an extensive renovation, we were able to open the doors, and the studio is once again making music. So it was a very emotional time for everybody, I believe. You know, the room is so full of history, musical history. So for me to be able to be a part of that, it was a pretty humbling experience to be able to have a studio of that nature here in Nashville.
For sure.
So then what is it like, Johnny, walking in? Is there a lot of inspiration in that studio for you? And can we expect some new music? Because I know you've been teasing fans online on social media that you've got some new stuff coming.
Yeah, there is. It's a wealth of inspiration. You know, when you walk in there, you still feel the vibe of the people that have recorded in there, from Johnny Cash to Willie Nelson to Ray Charles to Roy Orbison. You know, the list goes on, guys. It's unbelievable the amount of music that was made in there. So it's a very inspirational space. I have been working on new music, and I'm hoping to maybe release some new music, you know, later this year. But for the time being, my focus really for the past 3 or 4 days is I just locked myself away, and I finished writing this song for all the people up there in Nova Scotia. So my focus right now is I just delivered that song last night to the record label, and I'm hoping that, you know, we can get that song into the world and bring a wee bit of love and a wee bit of light to this very dark situation up there.
Well, we all appreciate it, and we look forward to your new music. Johnny, so good catching up.
Thank you so much, guys. Please stay safe. We'll see you when we see you.
Likewise. All right, we're going to take a short break here on the morning show. When we come back, she's a little bit city and a little bit country. HGTV star Sarah Richardson celebrates both styles in her new book and series, and she joins us after the break.
And welcome back. Sarah Richardson has been a key fixture in the Canadian design scene for over 2 decades.
That's right, and now she's releasing a new book series called Collected, containing an ever-changing vision board of her favorite things. And HGTV Canada designer Sarah Richardson joins us now. Sarah, we haven't seen you since all of this started. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you guys?
Pretty good, getting by. All right, let's talk about this new book, City and Country, which is the first volume in this series. Why did you choose to celebrate those styles?
Well, I think so many of us have a love of living in the city and experiencing all the big energy that goes along with it. But I feel like increasingly there's a pull towards country for people, for a slower pace and for just sort of turning back the dial and getting off the beaten track. So we wanted to take a look at the opposites that attract, and two very distinct ways of living. But I think there are people who live in the city that love a country vibe, and people that live in the country that might want something more modern. So we decided that two ends of the spectrum just create the perfect balance.
I hear ya.
All right, well, let's break down a few of the design tips, if we could, Sarah, from the book, the things that anybody can do even during this lockdown. And the first one is inset wallpaper. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I think wallpaper is interesting because lots of people love to DIY, and I started my career with DIY. And for years, we talked about an accent wall of wallpaper. But instead of that, in the book, we show two different examples of how you can use a small amount of wallpaper to create a big impact. So here it is, really dramatically set within the back of a bookshelf surrounded by a dark wall color. And then we have another option, which is showing how you use it inset within paneling. And so especially, it's hard for us to tackle big projects right now, but you can still think about smaller things you can do at home. Wallpapering is one of them, painting is one of them, and how about rearranging the furniture or just tidying up.
That is all the time. All right, let's talk about statement paneling.
Right. So I think especially when it comes to country style, we think about shiplap, beadboard, tongue groove paneling, and how to use it to dramatic effect. And actually, I'm here in the Belvedere in my farmhouse, and we have tongue and groove paneling. This is actually part of the laundry room we're looking at now, where that paneling goes up the wall and then across the ceiling. And here's beadboard set within the back of a bookshelf. Interestingly, this is an open shelf in a kitchen that's in a city house that embraces a little nod to country style. Here's an approach where you can use paneling. So these are just little strips of wood. This is a DIY veg hood I made for Sarah Off the Grid Season 2 for HGTV. And on the wall and behind this media cabinet, using strips of paneling to make a very geometric, contemporary design. And it's really about anything, when you're working with paneling, it's about making that statement. It's about capturing style and doing something unique and fun. And that's always part of the process for me, is working with available materials and seeing what you can make happen.
All right, well, speaking of making a statement and something unique and fun, tell us about making a gallery art wall.
Okay, well, art is such an important part of finishing our home. I feel like it's so often one of the final steps. how many of us have a piece of artwork that's been sitting on the floor that you just keep meaning to hang? And I was talking to a friend the other day who said she was feeling sort of uninspired. And I said, I was tackling some cleanup project. And she said, you know what? I'm going to go hang that art on the wall. So I like to think about new solutions. Here's one. This is actually a collection of 8 photographs that I framed all together and then turned into a TV screen. So behind those photographs is actually a television hidden discreetly, or create a gallery wall. And these are photos actually that I took on my iPhone. And the wonderful thing about your phone now is it can take fabulous quality photographs. So you can take photographs when you travel, when you go for a walk in the park. This is the simplest and easy solution. These are IKEA frames. And lastly, this is legitimate, beautiful artwork hung in a more formal way. So there's so many different options about how you can hang your art and how you can really make it a statement.
See, I've done that wall. I just haven't taken the time to print out the pictures to put in the frame. So I have all these frames, these empty frames, and then I have models staring back at me because I just haven't taken out the inset and replaced it with my own photos. All right, so finally, let's talk black window frames. Anyone can do that.
Anyone can do that. So it's been a trend that's been coming in probably, I'd say, for 15 years. And at the beginning, when a trend starts, you always wonder, is this here to stay or is this going to be a passing fancy? And I'd say that black windows are definitely here to stay. And whether you order new windows that are black or whether you just decide you want to update your existing. In this case, you can see the outer frames are still white, but the actual window sashes are painted black. And these are actually brand new windows that were installed for this project, which was a century-old home embracing modern style. So I think when you think about city and country, it's about how you mold those two things together. And our next book in the series is called Past and Present, which is what that idea is about.
Love all these ideas. Sarah Richardson's collected City and Country is available now. So good to see you, Sarah.
Nice to see you guys. Be well.
All right, up next, it's easy to feel lonely when the only interaction you have with people is on Skype or Zoom. But relationship expert Jessica O'Reilly is here with some tips to help you feel more connected.
And welcome back. With more and more of us video chatting more than ever before, it seems like life has just become one big video chat. Don't we know it? But let me ask this philosophical question. Are we really connecting by chatting this way?
We're going to find out. Here to break down the good, the bad, and let's be real, sometimes the ugly, is relationship expert Jessica O'Reilly. And Jess, let's begin with some of the pros, because I can say I have never felt more connected to my girlfriends than right now, because we have these weekly chats. Sometimes we had months go by before all of us got together.
Yeah, that's so true. So the reality of video chat is that it's more convenient. And so the frequency of connection goes up. And there's research to show that it's more intimate than the phone. And research also shows that cooperation is higher on group video chats than on phone calls. However, it does take longer to develop trust.
All right, what about emotionally? Because, I mean, this is not all great. I mean, it's great that we can still stay somewhat connected thanks to FaceTime and Zoom and that sort of thing. But a lot of people, Jess, are finding it emotionally taxing, taking one video call after another.
Yes, we are starting to wonder, could that video call have just been an email? And so we do realize that this is emotionally taxing for many of us. So you have to work harder on a video chat to pick up on all of the nonverbal cues that you're seeing on screen. And it's not always perfectly clear, as we know, with all of our Wi-Fi very taxed. So that work to pick up on those cues can be emotionally draining. There's also this incongruity between what you think is happening. So you feel as though you're together, but you're not physically physically together, and that dissonance can be really exhausting as well. The other thing we know is that there are, awkward delays, and research shows that those awkward pauses and delays can make us perceive the people on the other end as less friendly and less trustworthy. And in real life conversation, we have a little bit of silence, we have pauses, and it helps to, maintain the connection. But on video, some of us, I can speak for myself, certainly we try and fill the dead air because we're uncomfortable with the silence, and then the conversation can feel, a little bit vapid.
Oh, don't we know it? Jeff and I know a thing or two about delays over the last several weeks. All right, let's talk about this, because some people are feeling very self-conscious, more so on a video chat than in person.
Oh, absolutely. Because, you, first of all, you're experts at being on the screen. But for many people, it feels very self-conscious to know that people are looking at us. So it's this two-way mirror. In addition to that, you can see yourself on screen. And there's this feeling of voyeurism that we're not all comfortable with, right? So you're welcoming people into your home. Maybe you're self-conscious about your backdrop. If you're like me, you're making sure you're moving everything around. And that feels very stressful. Not everybody's into the voyeurism of it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I just recently learned that Zoom has a feature, Jess. It's called Make Me Look Better. Apparently, it's an option you can bring down from a menu bar. I think we need that for the studio cameras at work. But you talk about the visual cues.
You guys are looking pretty good.
Are we missing the visual? Oh, well, bless you. Thank you. Are we missing the visual cues from others because we're so concerned about how we're looking during our Zoom calls, though?
Yeah, certainly. It can be very distracting. And oftentimes you have the option with different platforms to move your video off screen. So that's what I tend to do, so that I can focus on what you're saying and focus on you, as opposed to, checking my eyeliner. Did I get those wingtips even? Which can be a distraction for many people.
All right. So what are some more solutions to make this new reality a little less painful?
Well, first and foremost, don't assume that everything needs to be a video call. I know that some people are craving that connection, but you don't have to do it throughout the day with all of your business contacts. So as you said, Carolyn, you're enjoying staying connected to your friends, and that's amazing, probably because there's less pressure and you already know them. So I mentioned that the research shows that it takes longer to develop trust over video versus in person, but you already have that trust. You have that foundation. So perhaps reserve the video calls for the people that you already have a relationship with, as opposed to trying to form new relationships. The other things that I see working with some clients is they're separating platforms for work versus pleasure. So they're using one piece of software for work and one for pleasure, so it doesn't all feel like work. I know people who are choosing to have their camera on when there's a big group meeting, but maybe being a little bit off screen, not centering themselves, or if you're having a social call, not feeling that it has to be that focused eye contact the whole time. I can have a video call while I'm making dinner, or while I'm organizing, or while I'm doing something else. So we still have a little bit more connection than the phone, but not the pressure to be staring in your eyes for that prolonged period of time.
I hear you. I do have to work on not looking at my face and seeing where I need to pluck. That's a problem. Because I get myself out of the chat by staring at the work I need to do on my face. All right, Jess, great ideas, great chat as always. We'll talk to you in a bit. Coming up on the morning show, if you're stuck at home cleaning out your closet, fashion expert Natalie Sexton has some creative ideas to transform those old T-shirts you never wear. Well, many of us are taking time during this lockdown to learn something new. Today, we're going to get creative in the closet with fashion expert Natalie Sexton, who's going to show us some easy DIYs for that old T-shirt you never wear. Hey, Natalie.
Hey, how are you?
Great. All right. So what are we starting with?
Okay, so, we all have those T-shirts that we've been kind of digging out, so I don't want you to throw them away. We can have a little bit of fun. Little projects are always great. So I'm going to do 2 no-sew DIY projects with our T-shirts. And first up, we're going to make a choker T-shirt.
Okay, all right. So I brought my T-shirt. Now, I know you said ones you don't wear, but this is my jammy T-shirt, so I wear this quite a bit. So am I going to make it fancy for tonight's
That's okay.
sleep?
You'll look very yeah, you'll look very chic when you go to bed tonight. I like it.
Okay. What are we doing?
One of my tips, Okay, so first off, my big tip off the top with any of your t-shirts that you're going to transform is I want you to throw them in the washer dryer. It's going to tighten up the fibers, and then you're going to get a nice, cleaner, sharper cut that way too. So that's my first step here. So with the choker tee though, what I want you to do, you're going to need a measuring tape, you're going to need a good pair of scissors, and then something to mark the t-shirt with. So if you've got fabric chalk, great. If you don't, you can use a little bar of soap, you know, those little kind of nubby ones that end up in the shower. You can use these because you can mark your t-shirt with them, and then that's just going to wash off later when you throw it in the washer. So it's not going to stain anything. So what we're going to do is I like to start right from that shoulder seam. You're going to measure, maybe I did about 2.5 inches down on each side. Make your top marks for your V, okay? So 2 inches each side, dot, dot. Then you're going to find the middle of that, to find the middle of your shirt, about halfway across. And then you're going to go as low as you would like to. I went fairly modest here, so I went down to about 4 inches to make that final mark. And then what I want you to do is take the shirt and you're going to fold it vertically. Okay, so now we're seeing sort of the half V here. I want you to take your scissors, start at the bottom, and make your way up the shirt to that top dot. Okay, we're not going to go right into the collar. Obviously, we're always going to use a crew neck tee to make a choker tee. You're going to hit right underneath the seam, and then that's where we're going to bring the scissors across. You're going to open it up. How are we doing here, Carolyn? How's it looking?
Let's see.
Oh, okay. I like this.
I'm kind of liking it.
I think it's cool. So, okay, the great thing about this is we want to give it like a vintage vibe. I love doing this with concert tees because afterwards you're just going to kind of stretch it out. Like, this is not meant to look perfect. You can go back in if you want. If you're finding there's little frays, you can go back in with a tinier pair of scissors. Oh, yes, I like this. Can you please post this on Instagram later so I can share this? I need this in my life. My dogs even come over to have a peek at it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is great, Carolyn. I'm making it. If you want to afterwards go in, fix it up a little bit, feel free, have fun with this one. It's meant to have a fun vintage vibe. I also chopped the sleeves off, cup them up, and you can make that same choker in the back as well if you want to. Really have some fun here.
I think I did, unintentionally.
You know what? You're a trendsetter. You're ahead of the game here.
What else do you have for us?
All right, I'm going to come over to this side here. So this, I thought, you know what would be kind of fun here? We're all taking tons of selfies. We're all doing these, Zoom calls, Skype calls. So why not make a quarantine t-shirt? So really easy here. I ordered some iron-on letters. You can find these at Walmart. You can find them at Michael's. You can find them on Amazon. Michael's is even doing curbside pickup. So very easy, very inexpensive. So all you need is an ironing board. Even you can lay your t-shirt down on a table with a towel under it. And then you're going to decide whatever you want your shirt to say. This one I put Namaste Home. I thought that was kind of punny. I'm always down for a good pun. The one I'm wearing today says, Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. I know you're watching right now. Love you. Miss you. I thought this would be cute for even a Mother's Day idea. You could send a message to a friend. We're all looking for fun, creative ways to connect. So this is kind of a cool way to do that. You're going to just simply lay your letters out. Again, you'll want to use a measuring tape and kind of plan where you want them strategically on the shirt. And then you're going to lay a tea towel over top. And then you're just going to press down with the iron about low to medium heat for about 20 seconds. I'm going to have all of these instructions detailed as well on my Instagram. If anybody wants to, go back in and kind of go along with me, if you're not catching it all here, this is all super easy. If I can do this, you guys can do this too. But I think it's all about just kind of having fun. And again, those t-shirts that we're, hanging on to, or sleek shirts, why not look stylish while we're laying on the couch? A little choker tee message. You could choker tee and have a message. You could do it all. One shirt.
Today, watch out, family. I'm coming home, and I may put on some rock tunes, and I'm ready to go. I am.
I love it.
So I love it too. Thank you. Such great ideas, Natalie, as always. I feel like I need to do a bit more cutting. I might take off now the sleeves on this just to really feel it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Show those pikes off a little bit.
Natalie, thank you so much.
Thanks, Carolyn. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
You too. All right, we're going to take a short break here on The Morning Show. Stay with us.
the COVID-19 pandemic.
Go home and stay home.
Watch Global National to find out what's happening around the world and across Canada.
We just want to come home.
The flight's been canceled already twice.
Our time to act is now.
And your local global newscast for how the pandemic is affecting your family and community.
They wouldn't proceed with executing the test to see if I have COVID-19.
Canada's go-to source for vital information, Global News.
All right, as always, we're going to end the show with some photos and videos that you've been sending us.
And we're going to start out in British Columbia. Have a look at this. There were reports of a coyote on Springfield Road, but upon closer inspection, turns out it was just Wile E. Coyote, super genius, and his pal, beep beep, Roadrunner. Yes, that is Wile E. Coyote, who even, by the way, has his mask on to help stop the spread. So good work there, Wile E. Coyote. And this comes to us from Carla in London, Ontario. Cat Milo getting a little playtime in, which is good to see. We all use that these days. And yes, we do want your photos. We want your videos. How are you spending your days? How are you spending your time in self-isolation? Let us know by hitting us up on our social media at Morning Show CA.
That's right. We will see you tomorrow, Jeff. Same time, same place. Coming up on tomorrow's show, Christine Cho with how to do the perfect pedicure at home. And later this week, my big fat Greek wedding star, Nia Vardalos, and Lennon Stella performs as part of our TMS Coachella concert series. Of course, we'll continue to keep you up to date on all things COVID-19. Remember, we're all in this together. Try and have a great day, and let's do this all again tomorrow.